time the end of October, November, it's gonna be chilly.
I love those games.
And I went to that game last Thursday. Now, by the end of the game, I could have had a coat on. It got chilly.
It got down to 56 last night.
Was it?
Yeah. I think it's supposed to get down to
It's
54
just like it's,
tonight.
Huh?
it's gonna be 91 Sunday and Monday.
I already turned
Yeah.
that on.
Yeah.
This isn't recording.
At Washington Courthouse next week, and then they come home, they play Chillicothe and Western Brown. And they'll go back on the road again. I can't remember, I don't have my schedule in front of me, where we go from there. I won't be doing it tomorrow night, our 40th wedding anniversary is tomorrow.
You going tomorrow night?
I'm not gonna do it,
I gotta go.
thank you.
I'm going with my son.
Are you? Yeah, 40 years of, as she said this morning, we both looked at each other and said, I said, 40 years with the wrong woman. She said, 40 years with the wrong man, right at the same time. I wouldn't,
How'd she do that?
I
Don't know.
don't know. I mean, it was just like mental telepathy, you know?
No, I meant how she survived 40 years.
Oh, yeah. That's what I
But
should
like
come back and said,
jumping things,
how did you survive that in Pennsylvania?
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I almost lost her at 89. She had open heart. She had triple bypass. We almost lost her. The doc told me, he says, enjoy the next 10, 15
Yeah,
years.
1 minute.
It's been all you. And
In 89, so that's
34 years
Wow.
now, something like that.
so you've been married 6 years when that happened.
Yeah.
Wow. Huh.
Didn't know him. We just was playing golf, and she just. It was hot. It was in the evening. And she just started getting pale and everything. So we took her in, and we initially checked her for COVID. And we got another doctor again. That one doctor, she says, I don't like symptoms. So anyway, we took her in and did a heart thing. All three of her main metals. One was shut down 97%, another was shut down 93%, the other was shut down almost 96%. Yeah, good.
Welcome to the London City Council meeting. Would you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silent reflection. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Clerk, could you please take our roll call this evening?
Councilman Eads?
Here.
Councilman Peters?
Here.
Councilman Robinson? Councilman Hayes?
Present.
Councilman Hitt?
Here.
Councilman Stahl?
Present.
President Comer?
Present. All right, has everyone had a chance to take a look at our minutes from the August 3rd meeting? Any changes, corrections? All right, all in favor of approving those minutes, say aye.
Aye.
All right, opposed, same sign. We do not have any public hearings this evening. Communications and announcements, we have none. And on to our audience concerns, we have Tommy Boyd. Please state your name, address, and you have 5 minutes, please. Thank you.
My first one would be, unfortunately, a correction to last week's. When we were going through the Board of Public Utilities notes, it was said that we had talked about appropriating money from the BPU back into. Okay. But
There you go, I think I heard it.
there we go. So, it was said that we're not able to appropriate money from the BPU to general funds. We all agreed on that. However, saying that, there isn't any way to get extra funds from the BPU back into general funds, that's the part that we had talked about, and the main thing I had said was that increasing rent that is paid to the general funds is a way to be able to increase money coming from the BPU back into our general funds. I've talked with other past mayors for other cities, kind of seeing, hey, is this an idea that sounds legitimate? And while it could be seen as, hey, you're hiking up our price here a lot as BPU, it's something that would be for the city. If we have 1.8 million in carryover, I kind of feel like, hey, we could possibly up this $200,000 or $300,000 that we're able to pull back into the city. But that was just kind of one of the first notes for the night, and nothing to change. Otherwise, I had sent out an email about the pole on the side of Lafayette coming into town. We all get this? Unfortunately, I'm sorry, I sent it just earlier today to you guys. But I was just seeing, do we have any plans of fixing that?
It'd be Ohio Edison's issue. I mean, you see they started to put a pole in there. They're taking care of it, so I'm
Okay.
sure they got
It's
to get
not
all
gonna
their
just be
ducks in
left
a row
like
to
that.
get it completed.
Okay, agreed.
There is also at the top of that, it looks like it's leaning, but there is a steel brace at the top of that. I looked at this evening. I didn't get your email at about 6:10, but I went down and looked at it, and there is a steel brace at the top of it that's encompassing it and got it to the other pole. And I think they're going to change the lines over, which I don't know how soon that'll be, but it should be fairly soon.
As long as we're getting it done, that's all I'm really going for. Yeah, I had mentioned something about the brace at the top, but I went back and looked at it also, and that's just the straps actually. So no fraying, and that was my main concern when I first looked back at that picture there. Next piece. This one just kind of came up recently, but it was something I wanted to start looking into, which was the Ward 3 grant for $750,000 from the Community Development Block Grant Program. Do we need to go through them for a summary of what's being spent from that grant, or would I be able to just ask for maybe a copy like that?
You can, Rex, you have something on that?
Together before the grant application was filed. That was part of the hearing that we had. We narrowed it down to get all the projects to be done. Those projects we haven't really deviated from those. The only thing is some of the storm sewer, I believe, and sewer lines, or just storm sewer. Both had to be done early, so we went ahead and took care of those. Those will be credited toward the city's portion or share of the project. The playground equipment's been ordered. It won't be here till December, so it probably won't be installed till next year. Things are moving quite along as planned. And again, some of the money that we are going to use for projects that we've already done ourselves, that money can be allocated to maybe some of the other items that was on the agenda that we maybe cut. So it's a fluid type thing. We'll get to it as we get it done. We had a meeting a while back with the grant writer, and there's paperwork that has to be filed for appropriations and so forth when we get the bids in and so forth, but it's moving forward.
All right. But getting a copy of kind of what's gone on so far, what we've spent out of it.
We've spent zero.
Okay. Just kind of, we have all that.
We have to
planned
get
right now.
the only thing that we've done is we've ordered the playground equipment. I'm assuming that'll be paid directly from the grant, but we won't pay for it till we get it, I don't believe.
The sewer line.
We have to do bids, had to get bids in and so forth, so we won't spend any of that money till we get the bids in to
All right.
move forward.
And that was one that kind of was looking into, because thanks, Rex, you answered a lot of good questions there. But are we able to change what that is once we've started this? What we might be adding in. One of the things that interests me is Mary Mac. They wanted the outdoor house there, the kind of like little shed area. What was that? The shelter house or some new Mary Mac additions. Is that able to happen still, or is that a conflict?
Yeah, there's already a shelter house down at Mary Mac. The shelter house was to be put in if we located it at another location. We got approval to put it there at Mary Mac, so that's another case of funds that we can take and use for something else. We have to ask permission to do that through the grant writers, our
So
liaison.
pretty much whenever a purchase comes up, we're gonna be seeing it at council anyway.
Yeah.
Perfect. Last piece would just kind of be, is any of that being used for the refurbishment of the buildings downtown? Would any of that go towards that? And that's why, hey, I'd rather ask it, get your funny looks, rather than let other people that I've heard say, oh, I think some of it might be going towards that. And that's a big reason I'm in here, kind of making sure that's shut down or double checked on. But thank you, because you have your faces said it
We're not
for sure.
allowed to use those funds to refurbish private property, no.
None of that is going towards any of that. All right. Other than that, thank you very much. And that's all for tonight.
All right, thank you. Next to our committee reports, we'll begin with Mr. Eads.
Well, we did have a finance committee. There wasn't a whole lot of on there. There's gonna be one piece that comes before us tonight that came from finance. We did have a conversation briefly about the audit that was just done. I'm pleased to report that the audit seemed to have gone pretty smooth. There was only one item that was a minor item, and it was just an accounting of how the water meters were accounted for. They were accounted for correctly, they just had to be designated in a different way. So that was a pretty minor issue. It was easily resolved, otherwise the audit went fine.
Good, good to hear. All right, Mr. Peters.
I attended the Personnel Finance Committee meeting. We just have one piece of legislation coming up tonight. Talk about it.
All right, thank you. Mr. Hayes?
Yes, attended the Public Safety Committee meeting. I do have one correction on the minutes. The meeting was called to order by myself. It has 6:30, and it was at 5 p.m. Okay, all righty. Approval of July minutes were approved. We received the Fire and EMS Chief's report. Mr. Hitt will give that report. Received the Police Chief's report through Officer Cooper for Chief Nichols, and Mr. Stahl will be giving that report. Under Safety Service Director, we had nothing. Under New Business, we had nothing. Under Old Business, we had nothing. Under Public Comment, we had nothing. We adjourned at 5:12. Next Public Safety Committee meeting will be September the 12th, 2023 at 5 p.m. And it will be in here.
All right, thank you. Mr. Hitt?
As Mr. Hayes said, I'll give or read through the report that the fire chief submitted for the safety committee meeting. As far as EMS training, they performed trauma designations and radiological emergencies. As far as fire training, they performed hose movement and pump operations. They completed several CPR and fire safety classes. They participated in the National Night Out. They provided lighting for movie night at Cowling Park. They participated in the London Public Library Touch a Truck event. As far as statistics go, for July emergency response report, there was 220 calls. 82% of those were EMS calls, and 18% were fire calls. As far as transports to various hospitals, Madison Health received 99, Doctors Hospital received 18, Mount Carmel and Grove City received 4, OSU Wexner Medical Center received 3, Riverside Methodist Hospital received 4, Springfield Regional received 2, Grant Medical Center received 1, and Nationwide Children's Hospital received 2. And that is it.
All right, thank you.
I also attended the Personnel and Finance Committee, and I have from the Service Committee, the Police Division report. Their continuing hiring process for open office positions. Applications are accepted until August 30th. There continues to be a delay in the procurement of the new cruiser due to equipment supply chain issues. We currently have 4 cruisers out of service. Cruiser 15 is expected to be brought back in service this week from repairs in the May crash and delay with insurance approval from obtaining parts. Cruiser 17 was total, and they're working with the insurance company on compensation. Cruiser 18 was damaged in a crash with an OVI suspect, and insurance is approving repairs. Car 16 was damaged in the pursuit abduction incident last week, and will be repaired at our expense soon. They held the National Night Out event at Merrimack on August 1st. The handguns approved last month were ordered are waiting to receive the holsters and ammo for training qualifications with the weapons. The SRO completed the state-mandated SRO training. They had 2 notable incidents. 7/24, officers responded to Taco Bell West High, and another on 8/2, officer would stop the vehicle, and the one that was one on US 42 in the truck stop. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. All right, on to city official reports.
Keep it short and sweet for you guys. The planning commission met and we heard 2 cases. One was to move some lot lines on 3 properties in the London Laning project, the one they are doing right now. That was approved. The other one was for a general retail store. The retail store was approved for the corner of Cherry Street and High Street. We believe they will be disclosing the name of the almost 11,000 square foot retail store soon. We have continued to meet with the county and representatives from Mid-Ohio Water and Sewer District. We're continuing to look at taking sewer from the district. Currently, we are waiting on the EPA study on discharge from our sewer plant. This will let us know how much we are able to process and discharge. Once we have that information, more intense discussions will take place. I did meet with MORPC, the Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission. They came out and had a luncheon. They just wanted to come out and discuss different aspects of London, but they did provide a bunch of information. A lot of the discussion was focused on growth and transportation, especially for large businesses, and then all the policy updates going through the state of Ohio. Just want to say that MORPC is a great tool for the city, and I appreciate their partnership. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask a question? The zoning at Cherry and High, would there need to be any further hearings? Wasn't that initially proposed to be storage units at that, or?
Part of it was a PUD with if you remember, the PUD was, the corner was set out for retail, I guess, and then the storage is behind it.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Rick, do you have anything? All right, no problem. All right, we do not have any old business. On to our new business. Ordinance 199-23, motion to read by title or number.
So moved.
Second.
All right, clerk, could you please read the ordinance?
Ordinance 199-23, sponsored by Greg Eads, an ordinance authorizing an advertisement for bids for the sale of real property owned by the City of London, Ohio pursuant to the Ohio Revised Code 721.03.
So this is land that the city's owned since August of 2010. We are responsible for the mowing of that land, so we've been doing that for 13 years now. This also contains a county-maintained ditch, which we've been told the county will still be responsible for. We had some discussions about whether or not we should set a minimum bid, and we discussed the appraisals on that. The 2022 appraisal was $2,720. And if you haven't seen the appraisals for 2023, they're out now. So that piece was appraised at $3,810 now. We've set the minimum bid to be $3,000. This property is bordered by 9 homes, 2 on Wilshire, 3 on Kenny, and 4 on Margate. They all have some little piece or some very big pieces where they border this land. So this will be, after its 3 readings, because there's not an emergency clause, this will be put out for bid by the Safety Service Director.
Okay, do you have anything further on ordinance 199-23? Okay, on to our roundtable. We begin with Mr. Stahl.
start out, wish all the London teams a good season. And also, if you haven't been downtown, check out all the changes that's going on down there. It's fascinating. You got new windows and that, looks like a completely different place. And I hope they'll be starting the hotel sometime, and it really makes a big difference that end of town, because that was like a desert for a long time. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Mr. Hitt?
I have nothing.
All right, Mr. Hayes?
I want to thank all city employees for your good work. Tomorrow will be 40 years that I've been married to the most wonderful and beautiful woman, my wife Sandra, and I want to publicly wish her a happy anniversary, and I thank God for her every day. She's the best. She's my rock. Want to thank the Lord for watching over our city and our people and taking care of us. That's all I got.
All right, thank you. Mr. Peters?
Keep it short, I have nothing.
All right, Mr. Eads?
I can't do that. I do have a couple things. So Mr. Andy Warnock, who's with the Westwood Collective, or now the Downtown or Main Street London Collective, that's the gentleman and his group that have bought those properties downtown and now has purchased the hotel. He's going to be here next Friday, August 25th, I think from like 9 to 11. If anybody wants to go down, I think they're going to give a presentation on their plans for those buildings. I do intend to make that. Job openings. I know that we have some current job openings. I was going to ask the administration if they want to just run through those very quickly, if they remember what those are. And then I was going to ask, do we have any updates on the water plant, or are there any upcoming projects that the citizens need to know about if the administration would like to address those?
The water plant, I think, processed, had some water run through it, and they sent it off for testing. We're still waiting on the results for that from Mass Eye. Still waiting on the results to come back from that. The street department has an opening for a street worker and a assistant superintendent position that are open. Have openings in the water department? Water department, fire?
Water plant operator.
Yeah. Police, fire. And I think that's about it.
Okay?
And those all can be found on londanohio.gov under job opportunities and all the descriptions.
Are there any other projects coming up that we haven't really considered or brought up lately? This kind of just ties in with the Third Ward project, you know, where that was approved, but we're not real sure what's going on with that. Someone else asked me that question also.
Well, pretty much the project's administered by, I think Whitaker's spearheading that. So, yeah, it all runs through CBG, so,
CDBG through the county, which is Whitaker Wright.
yeah. So they'll be spearheading that. We've already had a meeting for the very first project, which was the playground equipment. I think I said that already, that the equipment has been ordered, set to be delivered in December. And then I'm assuming he's putting together a packet to put out for bids for the other stormwater and sewer projects that need to be completed. So,
For like the storm sewer, or the sanitary sewer project down on like Lincoln and Riley, Stewart, where are we at with that?
We don't have the date yet.
that piece of it, he's talking about the one that we got the OP, are you talking about the one that we did the OPWC?
Yeah.
OPWC, we're still waiting on engine.
OPWC is the
Main line.
down Center Street to Madison. Lincoln and stuff is part of the CDG. It's a different
But the OPWC part, we're still waiting on engineering stuff to get finished before we can put it out to bid.
Yeah, we don't
Okay.
have any timelines on those.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have, sir.
Yeah, all right. Again, just like to thank everyone for coming out, everyone that's watching online. Thanks to the City of London, all employees, all the hard work that they do, and please keep our first responders and police especially in your minds. We've got like 4 cruisers down right now because of accidents, and, we've got open positions in the police department, so, I think this is similar to what we're seeing all the way around the country, so please keep all those first responders and everyone in your minds.
Mr. President, one more,
Yes.
because this came up at finance and I didn't mention it earlier. The federal grant, or whatever that is, I think it's a grant. Do we have any further updates at this point? I think the city's gonna have to meet with some folks. We don't really have any specs or any paperwork yet. Have we got anything since then?
On the $5 million.
On the
for
$5 million,
police
yeah.
department?
Yeah.
We still haven't received any of the final paperwork, so once we get that, like we said in finance, we'll start discussing with you guys on our next steps.
But I'd like to interject one other thing. It's really not considered a grant. It was part of the infrastructure bill that, what was the congressman's name or senator? Yeah, Mr., huh?
That Kerry got
Yeah, that Kerry
Mike
put in his recommendation to go to the infrastructure bill. So it's really not a per se grant.
But it is
Money that we don't.
free money.
It is free money.
Free money,
It
yeah.
is free
So it's
money.
even better than a grant.
Yeah.
But we don't know what requirements or anything else at this point, what we have to do with that.
No, not totally.
But we need to consider the rest of the money moving forward.
Yep.
Correct. And I think, with this being about 41% of our budget, I'm not sure why we wouldn't do everything that we could to take a look into, what it's going to take to get the rest of those dollars in order to get that done. So, all right, anything else? All right, entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'd make a motion to adjourn.
Makes up for those couple hours.